So really, you could just go and watch any of those other previous videos, and it's going to be exactly the same formula.
During the meanwhilest...
No. Oh, well, no. It's Dexter and me. Are we recording? Yeah. With a mid-advent proper Tech Tuesday. Anyway, it's a shameless rehash, basically, of a previous or a well-trodden video format. I've done reasons to buy, let me think, this year already, D90, D700, X-E1 Fuji, Olympus EM10. So I am going to be flogging a dead horse today, rather shamelessly, and giving you 3 reasons to buy a Fujifilm X-T2 in 2022. So really, you could just go and watch any of those other previous videos, and it's going to be exactly the same formula, to be honest. Except I'm going to give you a little bit of added value today. If ever you're out and about in nature and you see a leaf like this, with like, so it's not like fallen off a tree and it started to decay, but there's a green section in it with zigzaggy lines. I'm going to tell you exactly what this is. This is the leaf, what's it called? Leaf, something moth? Leaf burrowing moth? Maybe, I don't know. Anyway, it lays its eggs in between the membranes of a leaf, and then the caterpillar proceeds to eat its way out of said leaf. And these zigzaggy lines, in fact I'll put a close-up up now, the zigzaggy lines you see are not the caterpillar, but they are the caterpillar's poo. And I can't remember the exact name of the moth now. I looked it up like about 10 minutes ago and now I've forgotten, but so I'll put it on the screen. Anyway, as I said earlier, the dying pony that I shall be flogging within an inch of its life today is my Fujifilm X-E2. Dexter wants to join in too, with the with this well trodden path. It's quite possibly one of the finest things Fujifilm has ever made, and I think you should buy one.
And I'll tell you for why.
In fact, I've got, how many reasons have I got? I think I got 4 reasons. So firstly, this is a truly iconic camera. It came out in, I think, 2018, and it was a replacement for Fujifilm's X-T1. Now the T stands for, I believe, traditional, and heralded the return of like a film SLR camera with very tactile analog controls. And the X-T1 was kind of like the first SLR type iteration, with a 16 megapixel sensor. And the X-T2 though, I think, took that design and really ran with it a little bit more towards the sort of the traditional camera design, primarily with this gorgeous lovely shutter release button with a screw thread in it for a mechanical shutter release. The sensor was uprated from, I think it was X-Trans 2 in the X-T1, because I got an X-Trans 1 sensor in my X-E1, and I think it was an X-Trans 2 in the X-T1, still 16 megapixels, but that was uprated to the X-Trans 3 sensor in the X-T2, and saw a resolution jump of around about 50% to just over 24 megapixels. And it also saw a new X processor engine introduced into the digital finaglings and inner workings of the camera. So whereas the X-T1 was kind of like perhaps the first traditional Fujifilm camera, to my mind it was the X-T2 that really heralded the arrival of the X-T range, to my mind anyway. And I think a plethora of photography magazines tend to agree with me, regularly voting this as one of the most important digital cameras ever made, and also a really, really good second-hand buy. And you will have to buy one second-hand now. If you find a new one, then, good luck to you. But I don't think you are going to find a new old stock one of these. If you do, let me know in the comments. I shall be very, very jealous. The second reason for buying one, really, it is a design masterpiece. I think Fuji's engineers really knocked it out of the park with the X-T2. It was clear that people who designed this camera and cameras like the X Pro range are photographers first and designers second. And this really successfully melds, traditional old-fashioned film SLR looks with a very modern digital mirrorless, obviously not SLR, a digital mirrorless technological tour de force. Really, it's got a lovely three-way fold-out screen. Is it 3 or 2? I don't know, but it folds out, in all sorts of directions. This eyepiece I've got in it at the moment. This isn't standard. I've had this on. I was doing a landscape shoot the other day, and I had that on so I could get my eye closer to the viewfinder. Anyway, it really is testimony to Fujifilm's excellent designers, and it's a photographer's camera. The X-T3 that replaced it was more of like, I think, a hybrid, and then the X-T4 was a pure, if it's such a thing, sorry, I'm mixing my terms here, but a pure hybrid camera, if you like, with really, really good photographic, but probably more upmarket video specs then. And the X-T5 seems to be heralding a return with a smaller, lighter body, about the same size as this X-T2, perhaps a little bit thicker because of the IBIS thing. But it certainly seems to be heralding a return to a more photocentric camera. And I have pre-ordered one. Yeah, I know. I have a problem. Anyway, it's the little touches on this camera, like the dedicated metering mode you've got for changing I think it's photometry that Fujifilm call it. You've got like a dedicated collar to go from like spot metering, average, evaluative, etc. And as I said before, the glorious, I never got a screw-in button here, but you've got a glorious sort of manual screw-in shutter release option with these cameras. But don't confuse this camera's retro look and small size and low weight with poor build quality, because this thing really is built to last. I think this will probably outlive me, I got to be honest with you. It's a made in Japan camera. You can't see it. On the back, made in Japan, if that matters to you. But even though it is light and small, it's got a real kind of like density that gives it an air of quality, if you like. You might think that the camera is probably best suited to things like street work, etc., but I've used mine for landscape, seascapes, nature photography, macro, a bit of everything really. It's a really good all-round camera. The third reason really is the camera's image quality. I bought mine to replace a full frame Nikon D700, and I got to be honest, when I first brought the camera home, I thought, oh god, I made a mistake. Look at it, it's tiny or whatever. And I took it out and made some pictures with it, and I was blown away. Although it had fewer megapixels than my D800, I felt that the results were actually sharper because of the lack of an anti-aliasing filter on the X-Trans sensor, which the D800 had. Which was kind of like holding that camera back a little bit, to be honest. But the camera looked and felt like a bit of a toy perched atop my my three-legged thing tripod and taking up a fraction of the space that the D700 did. A lot of the image quality is down to Fujifilm's lenses. Their APS-C line is, in my mind, second to none in terms of quality, with offerings right across the price range, from the budget XC through to the mid-range XF, and then the really expensive kind of like pro spec red badge lenses. There's a lens for everything, from like ultra wide 10 to 24 right through to 150 to 600 telephoto, with everything, pretty well everything in between. You've got like macro lenses, you've got the excellent 16mm f1.4, you've got the 27mm like street sweeper. It's there's a lens for everybody to fit on the end of this camera. And there are also a number of pro photographers still shooting with an X-T2. If you read magazines like Amateur Photographer and things like that, you'll still see lots of X-T2 images in those magazines, or in that magazine. Anyway, finally, let's look at price. New, I can't remember what I paid for the camera new, but I think it was around about something like £1,200. But you can now get really good examples like mine for around about £400 to £500. So that really, for a pro standard camera, and you can then put together a really good kit, say for landscape, one of these, a second-hand 10 to 24, and perhaps something like the 55 to 200 for probably around about £1,000. And that's reason enough really on its own to get one, I feel. Anyway, there you have it for this week's Advent Tech Tuesday. The Fujifilm X-T2. It is still an excellent purchase in 2022. I should know. I bought one, and I think you should too, before prices start probably going through the roof, maybe, because everything seems to be going up these days. Even second-hand values of cameras seem to be holding their own, although perhaps with the X-T5 coming out and pushing this a little bit further down, then prices may stabilise or drop. But then again, you've got that Made in Japan badge on the back, and that still counts, rightly or wrongly, for quite a lot. Right. I replaced my Fujifilm GFX 100 with this X-T2, and I've had absolutely no qualms or worries in doing so. I miss the resolution a little bit, especially like with when you're cropping in to images. But in terms of printing, A3 plus images, you're not going to see any difference between this and a GFX 100 print. Not even with, looking through a loop, you're just not going to see anything. Right, that is it for this video. I think I've already said that, haven't I? So in time-honoured tradition, stay safe, stay well, look after yourselves, your loved ones, your pets, and look after your little leaf thingy moths, whatever they're called. I'll put the name down below. Leaf cutter? No, it's leaf cutter ants, isn't it? Leaf burrowing moth? I don't know. But anyway, look out for leaves like that, and if you can see that little black zigzaggy line in it, there's either still a caterpillar in there, potentially, or it's eaten its way out. And I think that's why this portion of the leaf stays green, because it's still being fed by the caterpillar poo. I'm going to go and wash my hands. Okay, just be nice, okay? Be nice, and I'll see you all tomorrow.
Yeah, you believe you're the king of the jungle. You got the t-shirt, do you know how the song goes? You're looking good, but the fact is you're lazy. But people love you cause you're funny and crazy. 7-Eleven, buy a 6-pack of beer. If there's a party, you're the last one to leave it. It's not too late, we could stop all the dreaming. Get out this town, look around, we don't need it. Hell and heaven, they can wait for you. So go and do all the things that you want to do. So set me free, still a vie. I said, come on, pretty baby, take a chance on me. I said, shame on me, cause I didn't see that you were looking at me, baby, by the Ferris wheel. I know you're cool, but you think that you're chocolate. Get off my nerves, cause I still got a soft spot. You look at me and think I got all the answers. Maybe I do, but I'm scared taking chances. Boat in a bottle, but we ain't sailing nowhere. Rip up the cork, get the wind into our hair. Get off the train in the rain at the station. Knock back a drink, cause we think the boat's sinking. Hell and heaven, they can wait for you. So go and do all the things that you want to do. So set me free, still a vie. I said, come on, pretty baby, take a dance with me. I said, shame on me, cause I didn't see that you were looking at me, baby, by the Ferris wheel. I said, I stand the future.